Hi there, welcome back, or welcome for the very first time. You're safe now. This is your time to rest. Let go of your day. Let your breath slow down and your thoughts float gently away. Tonight I'll be reading you a fairy tale, an old story wrapped in moonlight and carried on a quiet breeze just for you. So snuggle in, get cozy, and let the soft rhythm of the story guide you into dreams. Let's begin. The Back of the North Wind, Chapter 12. Who Met Diamond at Sandwich? As they flew so fast, they went that the sea slid away from under them like a great web of short silk, blue shot with grey and green shot with purple. They went so fast that the stars themselves appeared to sail away past them overhead like golden boats on a blue sea turned upside down. And they went so fast that Diamond himself went the other way as fast. I mean, he went fast asleep in North Wind's arms. When he awoke, a face was bending over him, but it was not North Wind's, it was his mother's. He put out his arms to her, and she clasped him to her chest and burst out crying. Diamond kissed her again and again to make her stop. Perhaps kissing is the best thing for crying, but it will not always stop it. "What is the matter, mother?" he said. "Oh, Diamond, my darling, you have been so ill," she sobbed. "No, mother dear, I've only been at the back of the North Wind," returned Diamond. "I thought you were no longer alive," said his mother. But at that moment the doctor came in. "Oh, there," said the doctor with gentle cheerfulness. "We're better today, I see." Then he drew the mother aside and told her not to talk to Diamond or to mind what he had to say, for he must be kept as quiet as possible. And indeed, Diamond was not much inclined to talk, for he felt very strange and weak, which was little wonder, seeing that all the time he had been away, he had only had a few lumps of ice to eat, and there could not be much nourishment in them. Now, while he is lying there, getting strong again with chicken broth and other nice things, I will tell my readers what has been taking place at home, for they ought to be told it. Now, they may have forgotten that Miss Coleman was in a very poor state of health. Now, there were 3 reasons for this. In the first place, her lungs were not strong. In the second place, there was a gentleman somewhere who had not behaved very well to her. And in the third place, she had not anything particular to do. Now, these 3 knots together are enough to make a lady very ill indeed. Of course, she could not quite help the first cause. But if the other 2 causes had not existed, that would have been of little consequence, and she would only have had to be a little careful. The second she could not help quite, but if she had anything to do, she might have done it well, and it would have been very difficult for any man to behave badly to her. And for this third cause of her illness, if she had anything to do that was worth doing, she might have borne the bad behavior, so that even that would not have made her ill. It is not always easy, I confess, to find something to do that is worth doing, but the most difficult things are constantly being done, and she might have found something if she had tried. Her fault lay in this, that she had not tried. But to be sure, her father and mother were to blame because they had never set her going. Only then again, nobody had ever told her father and mother that they ought to set her going in that direction. So, as none of them would find it out themselves, well, North Wind had to teach them. We know that North Wind was very busy on the night on which she left Diamond in the cathedral. She had, in a sense, been blowing through and through the Coleman's house the whole of the night. First, Miss Coleman's maid had left a little bit of her mistress's window open, thinking she had shut it, and North Wind had wound a few of her hairs around the lady's throat. She was considerably worse the next morning. Again, the ship which North Wind had sunk that very night belonged to Mr. Coleman, nor will my readers understand what a heavy loss this was to him until I have informed them that he had been getting poorer and poorer for some time. He was not so successful in his speculations as he had been, for he speculated a great deal more than was right, and it was time that he should be pulled up. It is a hard thing for a rich man to grow poor, but it is an awful thing for him to grow dishonest, and some kinds of speculation lead a man deep into dishonesty before he thinks what he is about. Poverty will not make a man worthless. He may be worth a great deal more when he is poor than when he was rich, but dishonesty goes very far indeed to make a man of no value, a thing to be thrown out into the dustbin of creation like a bit of broken basin or a dirty rag. So North Wind had to look after Mr. Coleman and try to make an honest man of him. So she sank the ship which was his last venture, and he was what himself and his wife and the world called ruined. Nor was this all yet, for on board that vessel Miss Coleman's lover was a passenger, and when the news came that the vessel had gone down and that all on board had perished, we may be sure she did not think the loss of their fine house and garden and furniture the greatest misfortune in the world. Of course, the trouble did not end with Mr. Coleman and his family. Nobody can suffer alone, and the cause of suffering is most deeply hidden in the heart, and nobody knows anything about it but the man himself. He must be a great and good man indeed, such as few of us have known, if the pain inside him does not make him behave so as to cause all about him to be more or less uncomfortable. But when a man brings money troubles on himself by making haste to be rich, then most of the people he has to do with must suffer in the same way with himself. The elm tree which North Wind blew down that very night, as if small and great trials were to be gathered in one heap, crushed Miss Coleman's pretty summer house, just so the fall of Mr. Coleman crushed the little family that lived over his coach house and stable. Before Diamond was well enough to be taken home, there was no home for him to go to. Mr. Coleman, or his creditors, for I do not know the particulars, had sold the house, carriage, horses, furniture, and everything. He and his wife and daughter and Mrs. Crump had gone to live in a small house in Hoxton, where he would be unknown, and whence he could walk to his place of business in the city, for he was not an old man, and hoped yet to retrieve his fortunes. Let us hope that he lived to retrieve his honesty, the tail of which had slipped through his fingers to the very last joint, if not beyond it. Of course, Diamond's father had nothing to do for a time, but it was not so hard for him to have nothing to do as it was for Miss Coleman. He wrote to his wife that, if her sister would keep her there till he got a place, it would be better for them, and he would be greatly obliged to her. Meantime, the gentleman who had bought the house had allowed his furniture to remain where it was for a little while. Diamond's aunt was quite willing to keep them as long as she could. And indeed, Diamond was not yet well enough to be moved with safety. When he had recovered so far as to be able to go out, one day his mother got her sister's husband, who had a little pony cart, to carry them down to the seashore and to leave them there for a few hours. Now he had some business to do further on at Ramsgate, and would pick them up as he returned. A whiff of the sea air would do them both good, she said, and she thought, besides, she could best tell Diamond what had happened if she had him quite to herself. The end. The story has ended, but your dreams are just beginning. Let them carry you gently through stars and silence and soft wonder. Thank you for letting me read to you. I'll be here again whenever you need a quiet voice and a gentle tale. Sleep well, sleep deep, and good night, dear dreamer. Breuddwydion melys, dear dreamer, sweet dreams.